Welcome everybody to Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall. This is the Doghouse Racing League Tuesday Night Truck Series here on iRacing. Tonight, we're getting ready for 100 laps at Iowa Speedway. Take a look at the top of the boards. Jonathan Jennings currently at the top of the list. Brad Hall sits in second. Steve Gerber third. Chris Leftwich and Mike Samia. I'm going to get that right one of these days. Samia sits back in the fifth spot. Jessica McMahon sixth. Chris Simon, Daniel Wilkerson, Mike Leftwich, and Eddie Rivers, your top 10. Let's take a look at our points coming into tonight. See, Jonathan Jennings, even with that bad race 2 races ago, currently sits still at the top of the board. He's got about a 21-point lead over Kevin Powell, sitting back in second. Justin McMahon, Adam Gardner, and Michael Samia back in fifth. Daniel Wilkerson back in sixth, tied with Ricky Williams. Then Jeff Wimmer, Ricky Hudges, and Steve Gerber round out your top 10. I'll leave the points up there for a moment so you can see where your favorite driver is currently in the standings. So we got about 2 minutes left here in practice. And Iowa Speedway is a tricky racetrack, as we see Jonathan Jennings down on the bottom. The high side has a lot of bumps. It's really easy to get too high through turns 1 and 2. You'll actually see the trucks wash up the track, and you may even see a couple of drivers get up into the wall in turn number 1. Turns 3 and 4, you kind of want to run the middle of the racetrack, because that's where the grip is, and there's really a lot of bumps down on the low side. You see that 91 machine bouncing around all over the place. Well, your typical short track racing. Kind of a D-shaped oval. Let's take a look at the race information. You can see the shape of the racetrack. Just under a mile long, 0.89 miles, D-shaped oval. A lot of character. You can see the shape isn't really symmetrical, so it really allows for a lot of different lines and racing around this track. So watch for that here tonight. Watch for the typical short track trouble, as we're going to have a lot of trucks on this small little track. See, Justin McMahon almost won last week. Making his way through the bumps there through turns 1 and 2. Not too far behind Chris Leftwich, currently in the 4th position. Running the high side through 3 and 4, which is a viable option. You can run the high side up through 3 and 4, but you can't in 1 and 2. So watch for the passing opportunities to really make their way through turns 3 and 4 up on that high side. As practice comes to an end, and we get ready for our qualifying single car 2-lap qualifying here at Iowa. We'll see who the first drivers are to make their way out onto the racetrack. It looks like Mike Leftwich may be the first driver to get rolling. So Gary Armio also out on the racetrack. Christopher Simon making his way into turns 3 and 4. That high lane to get a real deep entry down into turns 1 and 2. You can see just how much those bumps upset that truck through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Good look at the left front suspension here. You'll see just how much this truck travels through the bumps here. Has to correct quite a bit. He's currently the fastest truck on the racetrack. He just ran a 23:37. Brad Hall just ran a 23:59. Jonathan Jennings goes to the top of the board with a 23:32. See Mike Leftwich back out on track, coming through turns 3 and 4. Jonathan Jennings coming across the stripe. He's going to improve his time down to a 23:30. We got Gary Clune coming to take the checkered flag on his qualifying attempt. Ooh, really loose off of turn number 4. That is not going to help his time any. He's going to continue to hold on to that 7th position. There's Justin McMahon coming down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. And across the stripe, and McMahon is going to go P2 with a 32 compared to Jennings' 30. Steve Gerber making his way through turns 3 and 4. Oh, catches the wall just a little bit. That's going to cancel his qualifying attempt as well. So we see Adam Gardner out on the racetrack. Coming to get his qualifying attempt underway. Just took the green flag for his first of 2 laps. Adam, a winner a few weeks ago here in the Doghouse Racing League. See if he can continue his winning ways and keep himself up towards the front here tonight. First lap put him up to 11th. Off of turn number 4, trying to get as much as he can down to the stripe. And Gardner's going to be able to improve 1 spot up into the 10th position. So with about a minute left in qualifying, it looks like it's going to do it for everybody here tonight. Of course, I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. We got the chat open. Let us know who you think is going to win here tonight at Iowa Speedway. Also, don't forget to check out our great partners listed down below, including Race EPI for all your iRacing setups and coaching needs. Visit raceepi.com. You can support the channel by visiting intensitybroadcasting.com for all your hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, Intensity swag, our novelty t-shirts, or pick up some of Atlee Weiss's merchandise as well over at intensitybroadcasting.com. And of course, I want to always mention our great partners over at Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is an established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is a new and upgraded sim racing haptic that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one's right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. Drivers are making their way down onto the grid. Let's take a look at your starting lineup. And starting on pole tonight is the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. Justin McMahon will start to his outside in position number 2. Christopher Simon, he'll roll off from the 3rd position with Mike Leftwich in 4th. Chris Leftwich in 5th, and Mike Samia back in the 6th spot. Row 4 will find Daniel Wilkerson and Gary Clune, followed by Jeffrey Engel and Adam Gardner, rounding out your top 10. Ricky Williams roll off from the 11th position, and Steve Gerber in the 8 machine rolls off in 12th. 13th will be Brad Hall, no relation, with Gary Amio to the outside in position number 14. Eddie Rivers and Kevin Powell will make up row number 8, with Michael Dow and Jason Miz making up row 9, and the final starting spot tonight will belong to the 31 of Marshall Johnson. We see the trucks lining up on pit road, getting ready to roll off here for 2 pace laps before 100 laps here at Iowa Speedway. On the Twitch chat, see the 14 will win, go Engel, and rooting on the 14 of Jeffrey Engel over on the Twitch chat. That is Not quite sure how to say that, so I'm not going to try and wreck that. So, but thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. As here the field makes their way out onto the racetrack behind the iRacing.com pace car. Don't forget to join us after this one's over here tonight as the SCSRA Truck Series continues their playoff run as they set the stage for next week's championship race. You're not going to want to miss that one here tonight after this one's over. Of course, they'll be racing tonight here at Auto Club Speedway. Oh, that's the wrong schedule. We'll try that again. They're racing tonight at Phoenix Speedway. So Phoenix International for their final race of the round of 8 to see who's going to race for a championship next week at Las Vegas. But before that, we got to settle this one here tonight. As this time by, the pace car will be rolling off on the pit road. Jonathan Jennings, your pole sitter, choosing the outside lane on the initial start. So here we go. Pace car takes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Down to the starting zone. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing here at Iowa. And Jonathan Jennings trying to use that high lane to his advantage. Just McMahon trying to push him up the track just a little bit, trying to get him up into those bumps, and McMahon trying to take the lead as they come off of turn number 2, but here comes Jennings back on the high side. Down into turns 3 and 4. They are side by side, door to door. Off of turn number 4. And it looks like the first lap is going to be led by Jennings by just a nose. As these two continue to battle side by side. Jennings was almost clear of McMahon as they go down into turn 3 and 4, but McMahon able to get right back alongside the 91 machine as they come off of turn number 4 down to the stripe. And McMahon's going to lead that lap by just a nose. And McMahon almost clears the 91 of Jennings. Almost pulled a slide job there, but Jennings able to fire back up on the high side as they go door to door back down into turn number 3. And this is just lap number 3, and these two are racing door to door like this. It's allowing Mike Leftwich to hang right there, right behind him, and watch this battle. Just behind Leftwich, we see Christopher Simon and Mike Samia side by side for 4th and 5th. Ooh, Brad Hall having some issues, went off track. Now he's back on track. Ooh, looks like he's having a little bit of a connection issue as well. As Jennings was finally able to clear McMahon. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened to the 44 machine here. Oh, just got a little loose. Much like we saw in qualifying, one of the drivers doing the same thing. Able to get himself back on the racetrack, and no caution as we work lap number 5. Chris Leftwich and Christopher Simon are now side by side. It's a battle for the 5th spot. Leftwich on the low side trying to make his way around Simon. And he's got Mike Leftwich right in front of him. Leftwich and Leftwich side by side down through the turns 1 and 2. Chris almost slid up into Mike there. He was able to gain control. As Christopher Simon continues to watch this battle shaping up right in front of him. Meanwhile, up front, Jonathan Jennings still leading over Justin McMahon as we take a look off the back bumper of Jennings. As Jonathan and Justin start to pull away from Mike Samia back in the third position. This battle is continuing side by side for the fourth and fifth position. And so far, neither driver wanting to relinquish their position and make their way down the backstretch. Christopher Simon again just waiting in the wings, trying to get his way into this mix as well. Further back, we have Jason Miz in the 7. Started in the last position, currently made his way up into 15th. He's continuing to make his way through the field. Another big mover tonight is the 93 of Kevin Powell up into the top 10, up 6 spots, started in 16th. Now he's up into 10th. He's continuing to roll through the field. We see right in front of him Gary Clune and Adam Gardner. Daniel Wilkerson right behind. And we see the 14 of Jeffrey Engel falling back to the 12th position, but it's still early. There's plenty of time to make their way back up towards the front, as we are only working lap number 13 of 100. Christopher Simon trying to make his way underneath Mike Leftwich. Just not able to make that stick, as Adam Gardner now taking a look to the inside of Kevin Powell. Or I should say Powell taking a look to the outside of Adam Gardner, as Powell is going to move himself up into the 9th position. And now Daniel Wilkerson right there on the back bumper of Adam Gardner. Powell now taking a look down underneath Gary Clune, trying to take over the 8th spot, but Clune able to hold off that 93 machine for now. Christopher Simon now taking a look down underneath Mike Leftwich. Leftwich, though, fighting hard up on that high side, not allowing that 35 to get by. Meanwhile, just in front of that, we have Mike Samia and Chris Leftwich battling for the 3rd position, as Leftwich able to clear Samia, move himself up in the 3rd. And Christopher Simon was able to clear Mike Leftwich to move himself up in the 5th. Quite the battle right here. Now 4 cars under a blanket as Gary Clune takes a look down underneath. Gary Clune taking a look down underneath Adam Gardner. He's up on the high side. Kevin Powell right there as well behind, as Mike Leftwich now under attack from Steve Gerber. Gerber trying to move himself closer to the top 5. Gonna have to tuck back in behind Mike Leftwich to try it all over again. Lieutenant Ricky Williams making his way around the 14 of Jeffrey Engel. Way 2 of Gary Armillo Trying to make his way up here to get underneath the 14 as well. Meanwhile, Adam Gardner now trying to look to the outside of Steve Gerber. This is a battle for the 7th position. So we see Jason Miz now up into the picture, making his way up into the 12th spot. And Gary Clune continuing to march forward. He's going to look down underneath the 60 of Mike Leftwich. How about Jason Miz? Up 6 spots from where he started, almost cracking up into the top 10. Oh, some contact between Miz and Clune. Oh, there goes Miz way up into those bumps. We were talking about those bumps up through turns 1 and 2. You saw the truck get really out of shape, almost go up into the wall. He was able to hold on to it. And Miz and Ricky Williams almost made some contact there as Jason Miz was able to clear the 10 of Williams. Gary Clune working down underneath the 60 of Mike Leftwich, trying to take over the 10th position. We'll first take her down on the pit road. That's going to be the 45 of Brad Hall. Jonathan Jennings now out in front of Justin McMahon by just over a second. That's just over another second back to 3rd place of Chris Leftwich. Christopher Simon another second back behind Leftwich. And then you got to go back almost 3.5 seconds to find 5th place Michael Samia, who's got a hard charging, well, Adam Gardner and Kevin Powell side by side, trying to catch up to that 44 machine. Brad Hall has completed his service. He's back out onto the racetrack. There's a great battle here for the 5th, 6th, and 7th position. Powell was able to clear Gardner that time. Meanwhile, a little further back, Gary Leo looking down underneath Mike Leftwich as we have another taker down on the pit road. That is the 7 of Jason Miz. And we have caution out on the track. It looks like it's for Mike Leftwich, who's gone around. That's going to bring up our first wreckage rewind as we take a look to see what happened to bring out this yellow. Leftwich in Armio. Oh. Looks like Armio just didn't turn down, or Leftwich turned in too early. Ooh, the 31 of Marshall Johnson also getting a little piece there. So that's going to bring out our first caution of the night. Unfortunately, Jason Miz was on pit road when that came out. So he should be able to get the wave around here as the entire field makes their way down onto pit road. You see the awkward angle of that Christopher Simons, and in that third pit stall, Just McMahon's got the best angle off of pit road. Here goes Leftwich, though. Beats McMahon off of pit road. Christopher Simon will fall back to fourth. Kevin Powell in fifth. Adam Gardner up to sixth. Mike Samia back in seventh. Steve Gerber, Gary Clune, and Ricky Williams will be your top 10. With Jonathan Jennings winning the race off pit road. And Jennings not having that great of a pit stop, had a 15:05 compared to Chris Leftwich, had a 14:82. The best driver on pit road was Kevin Powell with a 14:72. Gary Clune also had a sub-15 pit stop with a 14:77. Well, he was able to gain a couple positions. See Jason Miz in front of Jonathan Jennings, so he'll be able to get the wave around and get himself back onto the lead lap. And Brad Hall sits back in the 18th position. Unfortunately, he is being scored as one lap down, along with the 33 of Marshall Johnson, who is on pit road trying to get some damage repaired. Brad Hall having to tuck down on the bottom, let the field by. This time by, we'll see the lights on the pace car go off. Jason Miz will be able to pass the pace car to catch back up. Jennings is going to choose the inside on this restart. Chris Leftwich to the outside. He's going to put McMahon back in third, and Christopher Simon and Kevin Powell your top 5. Just a couple laps away from halfway. About 15 laps away from halfway. Jonathan Jennings is going to lead him back down to the Geico restart zone. Of course, the restart rules. The leader has to fire off in that zone. goes early, he will get penalized. If he goes late, the green flag will come out without him, and racing will resume. Whether he's accelerated or not, as soon as he accelerates, though, in that zone, then the green flag will fly once again, and there it is, green flag back in the air. Great jump for that entire bottom line, as McMahon was able to clear Chris Leftwich. Kevin Powell was able to come through as well, as Powell now taking a look down underneath Chris Leftwich to try to take over the third position. A little further back, we see Adam Gardner down underneath Mike Samia, battling for that sixth position. Steve Gerber right there in the mix as well. There's Christopher Simon now trying to battle with Powell to take over fourth. Jennings and McMahon battling for the lead. Down into turns 1 and 2. And Chris Leftwich right there in the mix as well. This battle continues side by side down into turns 3 and 4 as we are about 8 laps away from halfway. And Christopher Simon using that high lane, trying to get the run down off the corner, trying to put himself in position here with this group. McMahon's going to clear Jonathan Jennings to take over the lead here at Iowa. And here comes Chris Leftwich with a move down to the inside of the track. They're going to be 3 wide for a second going down into turn at number 1. Jennings, there's a little bit of damage to the left front of his truck. That could be slowing him down just a little bit. Ooh, Christopher Simon up into the wall. He's going to lose a ton of positions as he really hit that outside wall hard. As Jennings right there in the tire tracks of Justin McMahon, trying to find his way back around to retake the lead. Chris Leftwich, though, right there in the mix, not leaving. Able to hang with these two. This is the first time we've seen another driver really be able to hang with our top 2 all race long. We ride along with Jonathan Jennings. Top 3 drivers pretty much running identical lap times. You know, they're all running completely different lines through the corner. Meanwhile, a little further back, we see Ricky Williams trying to chase down the 8 of Steve Gerber. Mike Samia right there in the mix as well. Ken Powell has caught Chris Leftwich and trying to move himself forward. As Leftwich now staying right with our front two. I think McMahon and Jennings may be backing off a little bit, trying to save a little bit of fuel, see if they can try to make it closer to the end. Meanwhile, further back, we see Gary Amio and Eddie Rivers battling for 13th and 14th, as Amio's going to take over that 13th position. And Adam Gardner tries to make his way back up into this mix as well. Not sure what happened to Gardner to set him back in the pack. But Gardner slowly working his way back up through the field as the battle for the 5th spot between Mike Samia and Steve Gerber, and Ricky Williams right there as well into the mix. Gerber continues to work to the inside of Samia. Here comes Ricky Williams out underneath Samia, trying to take over that 6th position. Meanwhile, while this is going on, Justin McMahon continues to lead Jonathan Jennings by just about 1/4 of a second. Chris Leftwich hanging tight right up there as well. See our top 3 all within striking distance of each other. Waiting for one of the other drivers to slip up so that they can take advantage and try to get themselves of the win here tonight at Iowa. So we are just past halfway. Here comes Jennings down to the inside. He easily takes that top spot back away from McMahon. So slide McMahon back to 2nd, and here comes Chris Leftwich trying to reel these two in. While that's going on, Ricky Williams is trying to chase down the 44 of Mike Samia, try to take over the 6th position. See Daniel Wilkerson, gets really loose there off of turn number 2. Got to take a look down to the inside of Engel. Wilkerson trying to get himself back up into the top 10. Side-by-side battle now for the 6th position. Samia has it. Ricky Williams wants it. Williams was just side-by-side. Now he tucks back in behind and takes another look down to the inside as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Christopher Simon continuing his backward slide after making that heavy contact with the wall. Currently in the 11th position and continuing to fall back. We see all that damage to the right side of that 35 machine. As Leftwich has caught Justin McMahon. One thing to catch a driver, it's another thing to get around him. Right now McMahon's doing a good job of fending off that 13 machine. We are quickly approaching 30 to go. Now McMahon's starting to lose touch of Jennings just a little bit. It's Christopher Simon starting to fill up that rear view mirror. That's when you can start to notice a driver really starting to use his mirror more than his windshield, as here comes Leftwich down to the inside, trying to take over that second position. Side by side down the backstretch. That time Leftwich almost able to clear McMahon, but McMahon's going to fire back on the high side. He's going to clear the 13 of Leftwich to get himself solidly back into the second position. We see the 50 of Michael Dow making his way around Christopher Simon. And Steve Gerber coming down on the pit road for his final pit stop. Now the question is that going to lead the rest of the leaders down pit road when they see Gerber, Rivers, and Armillo all pitting here? Especially we're seeing just how much of a premium these tires are. In just 35 laps, these drivers have already lost well over a second in lap time. With 23-second laps, I think that some of these drivers might think that the gamble of new tires is going to be much better than trying to stay out and save it to the end. Justin McMahon's fallen off of Jonathan Jennings. He's now almost a second and a half behind that 91 machine, as him and Chris Leftwich continue to do battle for the second position. And now Mike Samia down on the pit road, get his final service done. And Kevin Powell. Kevin Powell down onto pit road. So that tells me these drivers are not going to be able to make it to the end. So, oh, here comes Jennings down onto pit road. McMahon also down on the pit road. Chris Leftwich staying out on track. Going to lead a lap here. Try to get those bonus points. Now he's going to take that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Ricky Williams and Gary Clune coming towards the stripe, and Williams is going to lead a lap. We are quickly coming to 25 laps to go. Jeff Ringo also down on the pit road. As Ricky Williams and Gary Clune are side by side for the race lead. Down into turns 3 and 4. Gary Clune trying to get the lead here, trying to lead a lap. But Ricky Williams is going to stay out in front of that 11 machine. Clune is going to clear the 10 of Ricky Williams as Ricky Williams dives down on the pit road. You see the 15 of Eddie Rivers working down underneath Gary Clune to take or get himself back onto the lead lap. Gary Clune is now taking over the lead here at Iowa Speedway over Michael Dow by 7 seconds, and Adam Gardner back in third. Christopher Simon and Mike Leftwich your top 5. Jonathan Jennings back in the 6th position. He is the first truck to make their green flag pit stop and cycle around. Here comes Gary Clune down on the pit. No, he missed pit road. Clune was coming to pit. He completely missed pit road. And then he makes contact with, I think that was Mike Leftwich. Kevin Powell involved as well. Caution comes out. And this changes everything. Starts with the 11 of Gary Clune trying to make his way down on the pit road. You see he misses pit road completely. And then accelerates to try to get back onto the racing surface. And then completely misses the corner. Runs into Leftwich, who catches, oh! Kevin Powell comes down the track right into the line of the 55 of Mike Samia. Samia just had nowheres to go. They ride on board with Samia, and you see he thinks that those trucks are going to stay up high. And just out of nowhere, as that 93 comes back across the track. There's quite a few drivers on pit road. Christopher Simon on pit road. Mike Leftwich. Chris Leftwich. Chris was involved in that right there. Christopher Simon involved as well. So a lot of good torn up race trucks. So Jonathan Jennings is going to be back out in the lead. Steve Gerber up into second. Justin McMahon and Adam Gardner are going to roll off from row number 2. And Michael Dow, Kevin Powell back in row 3. Christopher Simon, Mike Leftwich, row 4. Gary Clune and Brad Hall back into this, up into the top 10. We see the 14 of Jeffrey Engel out in front of Jonathan Jennings on the tail end of the lead lap, getting one of his laps back. Actually, he is back onto the lead lap. We see Engel, Ricky Williams, Daniel Wilkerson, these 3 trucks. Once the lights on the pace truck, the pace car go off, they'll be able to race around the track and get themselves back onto the tail end of the lead lap. There's the lights on the pace car are off. These drivers getting the wave around to get themselves back onto the lead lap. Jonathan Jennings is going to choose the inside lane. Steve Gerber up on the high side. Puts Justin McMahon and Adam Gardner back in row number 2. So here we go, pace car getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Green flag is back in the air. And Jonathan Jennings with another great jump back up into the top spot. Here comes Justin McMahon looking down underneath Steve Gerber to retake the second position. And we've seen Justin McMahon have great short run speed. Here comes Gerber, though, back down to the low side, trying to retake that second position. Almost some contact there. And we know Justin McMahon's got a ton of short run speed. Can he use that to get himself back around Jonathan Jennings and get the win here tonight? Right now, though, Jennings keeping a good pace out in front as Steve Gerber overdrives the corner. Allows Adam Gardner to close right up on that 8 machine. We have just 15 laps to go. Kevin Brown says, "What's up? Thanks for the great broadcast, but where's this chess coverage?" In case you missed it, we did have a April Fool's prank saying we were giving up the iRacing and switching over to chess. But of course, those of you who caught the date would have caught that immediately. We're glad to be pulling the iRacing coverage of the Doghouse Racing League here tonight. And this one's going to be coming down to the wire with just 14, make it 13 laps to go. Daniel Wilkerson looking down to the inside of Gary Clune to take over the 9th position. And Brad Hall back up into the 8th spot. He's making a hard charge for it right now as he's catching the 50 of Michael Dow. Steve Gerber has a mirror full of Adam Gardner as they make their way down into turns 1 and 2. Gardner now side by side with that 8 machine. Just barely side by side, but trying to take that position away. And caution is out on the track as Kevin Powell goes back around. And that is going to bring up our 3rd caution of the night. We'll try to see what happened to Kevin Powell here. down into turn number 1, up on the high side, up near those bumps. And he tries to cut down the track to avoid the bumps. Oh, Gary Clune and Ricky Williams were sideways right in front of the 93, so bring this back just a little bit, see if we can see what happened here between Ricky Williams and Gary Clune down into turn number 1. And Clune just gets way up in those bumps. You see that truck up the racetrack. Tries to look down underneath Daniel Wilkerson. And a great run as they come down across the stripe, down into turn number 1. And just a little bit of contact. Both drivers, one driver trying to run the middle. The other one kind of walked up the track a little bit. We see Ingo got a little piece of that one as well. You see the 93 of Kevin Powell back on pit road, trying to get some of that damage fixed up to get himself back out onto the racetrack. So with less than 10 laps to go, this one's going to come right down to the wire. And we've seen Justin McMahon showing some great short run speed. Does he have enough to get around Jonathan Jennings, Adam Gardner, Steve Gerber right there as well, trying to steal something? And Christopher Simon able to get his damage fixed back up into the 5th position. But there is a saying in the racing world that cautions breed cautions. With just a few laps left, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple drivers making some less than desirable moves, try to get themselves back up or gain themselves a few positions. So lights should be turned off this time as we're going to get ready to go back. Green flag racing. Jennings going to choose the inside lane, putting Justin McMahon up on the high side. The pace car pulls down on the pit road. Jennings fires off. Green flags back in the air. Justin McMahon able to cover that bottom spot going down into turn number 1. Keep Adam Gardner behind. Gardner fires off hard on the inside. He's trying to get down underneath McMahon as they go down into turn number 3. And Gardner door to door with McMahon. McMahon able to get the run off the corner. Now McMahon's going to take a look down to the inside with 5 laps to go. Here comes Justin McMahon trying to take the lead away from Jonathan Jennings. Door to door, side by side, down the backstretch into turn number 3. We said McMahon had the short run speed, and he's trying to make that work now as they come off of turn number 4. 4 laps to go. And Adam Gardner right there trying to make it 3 wide as they go off of turn number 2. Oh, Christopher Simon gets turned around down to the inside wall. No caution. He's down off the racing surface. So we will stay green as McMahon almost gets up into the 91 of Jennings. 3 laps to go. Jennings trying to protect that low lane the best he can. Adam Gardner catches the wall just a little bit there side by side for the second position now as they go down into turn number 3. Does McMahon have enough time to make something happen here off of turn number 4 and to the stripe? 2 laps to go. Adam Gardner now getting around McMahon. But McMahon fires back down on the low side. Oh, some contact. Adam Gardner almost up into the wall. And McMahon's going to have to slide into the 3rd position. Now Adam Gardner up into the runner-up position as they come to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Jonathan Jennings now out in front as here comes McMahon taking another look down to the inside of Adam Gardner. Right behind we see Steve Gerber and Brad Hall up into the top 5. Trying to make something happen here as they come down the backstretch for the final time. McMahon. And now here comes Gerber and Hall into the mix. Off of turn number 4, Jonathan Jennings is going to get the win. The battle for 2nd. Adam Gardner is barely going to beat Justin McMahon to the line. And then Steve Gerber and Brad Hall round out your top 5. But your winner tonight here at Iowa is the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. That battle for 2nd place was exactly what Jennings needed to keep Adam Gardner and Justin McMahon behind him. Jonathan Jennings makes his way down to the front stretch where he's going to celebrate his victory. What a race here tonight. Jennings trying to burn those tires all the way down. That is Jonathan's 3rd win of the season. And as we take a look at the final results. Again, Jonathan Jennings getting his 3rd win of the season. Adam Gardner comes home 2nd. Justin McMahon back in 3rd. Steve Gerber and Brad Hall, your top 5. Chris Leftwich brings it home in 6th. Michael Dow rebounds for a 7th place finish. Ricky Williams, Daniel Wilkerson, and Gary Kloon, your top 10. Christopher Simon brings it home 11th. Mike Leftwich back in 12th. Jeffrey Engel in 13th. Eddie Rivers and Kevin Powell round out your top 15. Then Gary Amio, Mike Samia, Jason Miz, and Marshall Johnson will round out the field here tonight at Iowa Speedway. As we get ready to talk to our top 3. Starting with our 3rd place finisher, Justin McMahon. Justin, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, wild finish there. You had the short run speed. I thought you might have had something for Jennings there at the end, but then you had that hard battle with Adam Gardner. I know you two made contact. It didn't look malicious or anything. But, man, talk us through those last 5 or so laps because those must have been white knuckle for you.
Oh yeah, they were pretty good. I don't know. I was thinking I was gonna have a little bit more grip um, than I actually did, and I didn't have as much grip as Adam did. I think he had fresh tires from that second to last caution there. I think so. He was able to kind of run wherever he wanted to, but um, it was a tough, hard battle. It was a lot of fun racing those guys. I thought I was gonna be able to have something for Jonathan there. I knew that he only took 2 tires on that last pit stop that we took. Um, I was hoping that might come into play a little bit, but the fall off on the left side tires wasn't great enough, I don't think, for that short of a run. So it worked out for him. Congrats to him. Unfortunately for me, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard battling up there.
Well, another top three finish, nothing to complain about. That's going to get you some good points here. Move yourself up through the points a little bit. But, man, a couple cautions kind of falling at inopportune times. I think if that final cautioning came out, you might have had something for him because it looked like your speed was just a little bit better on those shorter runs. Is that kind of how you felt as well?
Yeah, yeah. I thought I did a decent job at trying to balance it out, but I was still able to be a little bit faster on the short run. Um, I mean, I think I might have been able to catch back up to Jonathan had we not had a caution after we pit. Just knowing that he was on only 2 right sides and I was on 4, so I thought that might have been able to come into play with a little bit longer of a run there. But stuff happens and people wreck, and you got to deal with the consequences, right? So I'll take it. I'm not gonna complain about it. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of really, like I said, it was a lot of fun racing with Jonathan and Adam and even Gerber and Mike Leftwich there early on. A lot of good, clean racing up front, I thought. So it was a lot of fun. I'll take third place.
Well, put on quite a show for the fans here tonight. And before we let you go, Justin, anyone you want to thank, any shots you got to give here tonight?
Oh yeah, congrats to Jonathan on the win, and uh, Daniel for putting on a good league, and the boys at Loud Pedal Racing there, and you guys for putting on a hell of a broadcast.
Well, we do appreciate that. And again, good luck. I know next week we are off, and then we'll be picking things right back up at Texas Motor Speedway. So good luck in 2 weeks at Texas.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
So that was your third place finisher, Justin McMahon. Let's bring in your second place finisher here tonight, Adam Gardner. Adam, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
How's it going?
Man, what a run for you. You kind of hanging out at the back of the pack tonight, working your way through the field, was in the middle of the pack for most of the race. That late race caution comes out, you come down, take 4 tires, and get yourself up on the podium. You're racing hard there with Justin McMahon. Talk us through those last couple laps.
Well, before it got to that point, I actually had a plan. Believe it or not, when the yellow come out and I was sitting there just outside the top 5, I was looking at the laps that we had left. I was looking at what I had hit on my longest run in practice, and I was thinking I can make that. and so yeah, that was why I dropped back so hard there on the restart. But I went right into hardcore saving mode. But then that yellow come out, and it was like, okay, I'll just take the tire advantage. And yeah, it worked out pretty good, I guess.
For sure, and it did work out well for you. Talk about those last laps, though, running with McMahon. I know that must have been some white knuckle racing for you. I know you guys made a little bit of contact. Again, didn't look malicious, but some nice hard racing between the two of you.
Yeah, no, that was fun. And I doubt anything very at all that would have been malicious. That was just hard racing as far as I'm concerned. Definitely, Iowa is not one of my better tracks. Anyone that's watched for a while has seen when we get to the short tracks, I'm usually the guy that's bringing out the yellows, not the guy that's talking to you now. So to end this with this good of a run, especially after getting the win earlier at Vegas, and then going back to Texas for the next race, I'm on such a high right now, and the momentum's there, the confidence is there, and hopefully the people watching enjoyed it and it was entertaining because I had a blast running it.
Now, it was definitely entertaining up here in the booth. I know personally, I hate this track. This track burned down to the ground, and I wouldn't miss it. So, But
I tell people all the time, I'm not a short track guy. It's one thing the smaller cars, but these bigger, heavier cars, I like the bigger tracks better. So to be perfectly honest, definitely was not expecting a top three, much less a second place tonight. Can't be any more pleased to end up with that at the end of the night. And yeah, just good mood.
well, before we let you go, anyone want to thank any shots you got to give here tonight?
Rogers Race Wraps for this beautiful truck they got me. I love being able to show it off, especially for the right reasons, and I love the job Matt did on it. My smoking wife, again, for letting me do this. You guys for bringing it on out to everybody. Daniel for throwing it on. The other admins for the work that they all do with helping to run things at the same time. And just, I don't know. I'm in a good mood, so I'll say to everybody for running tonight because I had a good night. I had a good race, and yeah, let's keep it on rocking.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Texas. And I know you said you're excited for that one. So we look forward to hopefully talking to you again.
Looking forward to it, baby. Defending race winner. So
Hey,
pressure's on me, and I confidence is there.
well, have a great night.
You too.
How's your second place finisher, Adam Gardner? Let's bring in your winner here tonight. Winner for the third time this season, Jonathan Jennings. Jonathan, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, not the easiest win for you here tonight, but man, what a race you had put together. It seemed like McMahon had a little bit faster short run speed than you. And then the cautions kind of fell into your favor, especially I heard you only took 2 tires on that last stop. So do you think if that caution didn't come out, he might have had something for you at the end, or did you have some little saved in the bank there?
No, I was going for it. So I wasn't sure about the 2 tires. I was hoping it would help me get more rotation, but no, it worked. I was running the same lap times as if I took 4. So.
Well, it was a great finish for you there at the end, and hard battling all throughout the race. Usually we're used to seeing you getting yourself a big old gap from second place, but McMahon was able to stay right there with you and even got around you a couple times. A lot of side-by-side racing. Did that chew up the tires, being stuck on side-by-side there for as many laps as you and McMahon were for a little bit?
Not really, because I think I was able to pull away from pretty much everyone else, especially the first run. I thought it would, but it really didn't. My tire wear was a lot better than what I expected it to be.
Well, a fantastic run for you here tonight. Getting, like I said, your third win of the season in dominating fashion. Jonathan, before we let you go, anyone want to thank any shots you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast, Daniel and all the admins for putting these things on every week, and Justin and Adam for the good racing, and all my teammates for the practice during the week. That pays off.
Well, I know next week we are off, but good luck in 2 weeks at Texas. We look forward to seeing what you can do there at the little 1.5-mile track.
All right, thank you.
Have a great night.
Too.
There you have it, your winner, Jonathan Jennings, here tonight at Iowa Speedway. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. As I mentioned, though, no racing with this league next week as they are taking a week off. But you can join us right here after this one for the SCSRA Truck Series, taking on Phoenix Raceway before their final race next week at Las Vegas. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch, don't forget to hit that notification bell to let you know whenever we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Check out our great partners at raceepi.com, the Butt Kicker, as well as intensityracing.com. That's going to do it for here tonight on the Doghouse Racing League here on iRacing. But don't forget, join us back here in 2 weeks. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.